You know, if you're someone who really, truly loves music, I bet you've come up against this problem. It's this fundamental conflict, a choice that really gets to the heart of how we listen to music today. So what's the big dilemma? Well, it's this. Do you go for that absolutely pristine, uncompressed audio quality, or do you choose the undeniable freedom of just going wireless? For forever, it's felt like you had to pick one. You couldn't have both. One way gets you every last drop of musical detail, but the other, it lets you actually, live your life without being tied down. And yeah, let's just lay out the trade-offs, right? With wired sound, you get that breathtaking detail, that huge, expansive soundstage that feels like you're literally in the room with the musicians. But you're stuck. You're tethered to your desk. Now, wireless, that's a whole different story. You get all that glorious freedom to move around. But let's be honest, there's almost always a sonic price to pay, a compromise.
Okay, but what if? What if that compromise just wasn't necessary anymore? What if you didn't have to choose? Well, that's exactly where our story kicks off today. We're talking about a product that was basically designed to completely erase that line in the sand. And that product is the HIFIMAN Deva-Pro. And you gotta understand, the ambition here was huge. We're not talking about just another good pair of headphones. No way. The goal was to fundamentally shake things up, to change how we even think about high-fidelity audio by smashing together two worlds that up until now were kept pretty separate. So the big question is, how on earth did they pull this off? Well, it all starts with the core tech. So let's dive in and break down the actual science that makes these things sing. Okay, so the absolute heart of the Deva-Pro is something called a planar magnetic driver. Now forget your typical cone that you see in most speakers. This thing uses an incredibly thin diaphragm, like a sheet, with all the electrical bits spread evenly across it. What that means is it can move super, super fast and with insane precision. And the payoff? It just slashes distortion. So what does that actually mean for you when you're listening? It means the sound isn't just shoved into your left and right ears. It creates this, well, it's an almost holographic soundstage, a real three-dimensional space where you can pinpoint every instrument. They have this tangible presence, this uncanny realism. I mean, it's the kind of sound that makes you feel like you could literally reach out and touch the music. But having amazing drivers, that was just step one. The next big leap was an innovation designed to make the hardware itself, sonically speaking, just disappear. And this is where we get into their stealth magnet design. And the concept here is pretty brilliant. See, normally the magnets you need to make the driver work can actually get in the way of the sound waves they're creating. It causes all this turbulence and mess. But these stealth magnets are shaped in a special way that makes them, well, acoustically transparent. The sound waves can pass right through them, almost like they're not even there. And the benefit of this? It's something you can hear immediately. What hits your ear is a much purer, cleaner sound wave. That means even less distortion, way more clarity, and a soundstage that just feels whiter and more natural. You're basically hearing more of the music and a lot less of the headphone. All right, so we've got this incredible wired performance. Check. But how do you take all that goodness and bring it into the wireless world without, ruining it? This is where the secret weapon comes into play. Let's talk about the BlueMini R2R. Honestly, this little module is a total game changer. Sure, it's a Bluetooth receiver, but the real magic is inside. It has what's called an R2R ladder DAC. Now, this is a type of tech that audiophiles absolutely love. Why? Because the way it turns digital ones and zeros back into sound is just different. It avoids that digital harshness and gives you a sound that's incredibly natural, almost analog-like. This is so far from the standard Bluetooth audio you're probably used to. And this BlueMini isn't a one-trick pony. It's a true powerhouse. First, you've got that amazing high-fidelity Bluetooth we just covered. Second, you can plug it straight into your computer with a USB cable, and boom, it becomes a high-performance external DAC. It completely bypasses the cheap little sound card that's probably in your computer. And third, it's got a powerful amp built right in, making sure those power-hungry planar drivers get all the juice they need to really sing. So when you put all of this together, what does it actually mean in the real world? Well, it means you've got one pair of headphones that's ready for pretty much any situation you can throw at it. The real genius here is how modular it is. Think about it. You're at home, walking around, and you want to go wireless? Just snap on the BlueMini. Simple. Now you're at your desk and you want the absolute best digital audio from your computer. Plug that same BlueMini in with the USB cable. Or hey, maybe you've got your own fancy high-end desktop amp that you love. No problem. Just pop the module off and plug in a regular cable. See? It just adapts to whatever you need, whenever you need it. And that's exactly why it's fair to say the Deva-Pro isn't just a pair of headphones. It's more like a whole adaptable audio ecosystem. And it's an ecosystem that puts you right at the center, letting you decide how you want to listen at any given moment.
So all of this brings us right back to where we started. By combining these incredible state-of-the-art drivers with a genuinely high-fidelity modular wireless system, does that old choice between quality and convenience finally just disappear? Could this be how we finally stop having to compromise on the music we love?